This is the PKS Running Club. Ordinary runners, extraordinary stories. I'm Paul, PKS Runs, and each week I sit down with another runner and get their real story. Not the highlight reel, whoever they are. Find me on YouTube, Instagram and TikTok as PKS Runs. Enjoy the show. So, welcome back to the PKS Runs podcast. Today I am chatting with Simon. This is actually the very, very first time that we've spoken, but I am excited to get to know Simon for the first time with you guys. So, welcome, Simon. Or can I call you Eggbert?
You can call me whatever you want. Egbert is fine.
Egbert is where I first met you on the YouTube lives. What's the nickname? Are you a secret Narnia fan or middle name Egbert?
I didn't even know it was a Narnia thing. The truth is, so I'd forgotten that was my YouTube name actually, and the reason is so my son was born start of COVID.
Yeah.
And I sort of have this ongoing joke that looking after a newborn baby, especially for dads, I think, when they're like very, very young, they tend to not really do anything. Like basically your role is...
Dads or babies?
Keep them... Babies.
Oh, right.
Babies. Dads... Well, both.
Yeah.
But,
let's face it.
But babies. But they kind of lie there, and your job is, just make sure they live, make sure they don't die. And it's very much like protecting an egg until it gets to be a... So all my kids have been called eggs, and like my boy's now 6, I still call him Egg. And Egbert is just a play on that because I couldn't think of a name.
That's cute. I like that. I mean, babies are useless though, aren't they? They don't contribute at all.
No, they don't even feature in GDP. Nothing. Yeah.
Okay, because I mean, I would have thought it was a Narnia reference. I see the bookcase behind you. You're clearly well read. You're clearly trying to be like, looking like you're wise. What have you got back? What have you got back there?
There is. So I want to. Obviously, I think a lot of runners watch a lot of YouTube.
Yeah,
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
And the algorithm just seems to recommend me stuff, so it got me into book YouTubers.
Oh.
And then what I did was they'll talk about things, and then you'll think, oh, that sounds good, and then you'll end up suddenly with a massive bookshelf of books you haven't read.
Come on, give us a couple of samples. Just reach back and just pull one off at random. And then, you give us an impromptu review.
You pick. You tell me where.
Okay. Third shelf down, and in the middle.
Shelf down, in the middle.
Oh no! It's the Kama Sutra.
It's not. It's. Oh, this is so pretentious. It is Herodotus, the Histories, which is so I have a degree in ancient history. So actually, this was one of my uni textbooks. When I was,
what a wanker!
When I was pretending to... So no, it is Paul.
I'm glad this is our first time of meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
So what was it? Herodotus the Great.
Herodotus. He wrote. I think, and this is how little I've read it. I think he wrote about the Second Peloponnesian War, which is basically, I don't even know if that's the name, when Athens fought Sparta.
Oh, okay.
He wrote about that.
Yeah.
Which,
I mean, my favourite Peloponnesian War was probably the first one.
The first one
was an epic.
Was good. It was good. Not as big as the second one though. The second one was the big.
But they had more budget.
More budget. Well, I see. This is the thing. Is also I don't really like the Greeks, Paul. So I did everything on the Romans.
Oh, okay.
I could talk to you about the Romans all day.
Really?
The Greeks,
what's your problem with the Greeks?
The Greeks, they just. I really like military history.
Yeah, okay.
And the Roman legions were just great. It's like a famous saying that basically every man thinks at some point every day of the Roman military or Rome. And I think the reason for that is that I'm kind of bumping up the statistics because I love Rome.
Yeah.
Military discipline, being able to administer a big empire. is, really, really, really gets me going, Paul.
That's amazing. I mean, I wasn't expecting to go there today. I really wasn't.
Neither was I.
No, and it's fair to say I don't think I've ever thought about the Roman military or their military might, but maybe I do. Maybe subconsciously I am thinking I am Maximus.
I don't want to question your manhood, Paul.
No.
But you've just gone down 3 or 4 steps in my.
Yeah.
As he sits there in a pink t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's fine.
So Simon, you, I know because I follow you on Strava. You are a runner.
Yeah.
Talk to me about your running journey. Have you always been a runner? Is this a new thing?
No, it's relatively new. I've always been. So I used to be probably about 5 stone heavier.
Wow.
And it was not muscle.
No, okay, yeah.
And so I went down very much the weight loss journey, and so I've been doing weights particularly since I was about 16.
Yeah.
Running is relatively new. So running, I think, and this is such a cliche, but COVID hit, and I at the time, we didn't know exactly how dangerous it would be or what you could do or all of those things, and I just thought, well, probably I'm going to be better positioned, being more healthy and doing more exercise and being a runner than not. So I just started then. So I don't think I'd ever run a 5k or a 10k until I was about gone 30.
Yeah.
And then and then like everything, isn't it, the progress is just really addictive about running.
So addictive.
Just you get, especially when you first start, because you just suddenly you're suddenly so much better than you were even like a few weeks ago. And so that progress and being able to watch watch your heart rate drop and watch your pace go up is just very, very, very addictive, I find.
It's amazing. I always get really jealous actually of beginner runners, because I think it's the only time where you can just like PB constantly. It's I set a new PB in the 5k and you're like, yes. Like I think I'm going to do a video about it at some point. I've got this kind of theory that there's like, if you were thinking of like a bell curve, like most runners kind of, it's a really fast ascent, and then you get to the top and it's like so friggin' hard to try and eke out like even just an extra second, and then but you don't want to be back at the beginning again ever. So it's like, it's so hard.
You injure yourself and you're 2 minutes down again, and then you have to. It's painful.
So with the weight loss journey, then was that at the start? Was that COVID as well, or was that when you were younger?
No.
So you said you started lifting weights as a like late teenager.
Yeah, that was the weight loss really. So I was probably 18 when I referred to myself as Big Fat Simon. But yeah, that period.
That could stick.
It rolls off the tongue.
Literally. Sounds like you were doing a lot of rolling.
Yeah, I remember, I love my mum. She's an amazing mum, and she'll be very cross at me telling the story on the internet without her being there to defend it. But I remember once she bought this crème brûlée for 6 people, and she was like, "Look, Simon, do you want this for dinner? Because I really like the dish." And obviously, as like a 17-year-old, you were like, "Yeah,
why not?
I could eat crème brûlée for 6 for sure. I don't see any downside to that."
Yeah. So, wow, that's amazing. So your mum's a feeder, or just a glitch, or just likes dishes?
It's more the dishes, Paul, I would say.
Yeah.
Big dish fan. But she'll be very cross at that.
No, that's all right. Well, Simon's mum, we're very sorry. Maybe she can come on the podcast and she can have an opportunity to defend herself at some point. But what for you then? Like, how did you shift? Obviously, you started lifting weights. Did you do a diet? Did you just make a conscious effort to eat less of the 6-portion crème brûlée? Or what was your journey? Because it's losing weight is hard. Like I've done it. I'm 4 stone lighter than I was at my peak. It's hard.
Yeah, I'd say for me it's like I'd say losing it isn't the hardest bit. The hardest bit is not putting it back on.
Yeah.
As a rule.
Yeah.
And I just, for me, it started very easy, as in like you just decide one day, you know, the Big Fat Simon's too good a nickname to to allow to continue.
Yeah, yeah.
I've got to do something about this. And then it's just, you start with the simple things, you know, perhaps I don't need to dip Mars bars in double cream every day. Perhaps I could eat a salad instead. And then you usually get to a point where you kind of plateau, where you've lost a bit of weight, but maybe not enough. And then you kind of do the next thing, and that would be to start exercising or whatever it is. And slowly, you know, you get better and better. Again, it's that incremental progress, I think, that's just, for me anyway, it's just very, very addictive.
Yeah.
I've read every diet that I've tried every diet. I've tried everything. They all work to some degree if you're just consistent about it. But the first one I read was Atkins, and I read that cover to cover.
Yeah.
And it you know, if you kind of stick to anything, it'll work if you see it out. Not that I'm advocating any kind of whatever works for you.
Yeah.
But you know, I've tried everything. I've tried fasting. I've tried calorie control, which is probably the easiest one.
Yeah.
I've tried, but they all, you know, as long as you stick to something, you'll tend to be okay with it. Yeah, I think.
And where have you landed then on that with eating in particular? Have you kind of almost a blended approach of everything that you've read? Is that like what works for you now? I mean, I don't know. I guess you're in your 30s, so 20 years on, having tried all sorts of different things, read all sorts of different things. Like, how do you fuel yourself now as somebody who runs, somebody who trains? Because I still struggle with it. I still struggle with the psychological attachment of, gosh, I shouldn't be eating this, or I should be eating that, or I should have less of this and more of that. Like, where have you got to with your eating journey?
So, firstly, I love food. I absolutely love food.
Yeah.
Think about food all the time. Like all the time. Yeah. And actually, I weirdly, I tend to put on weight when I'm running, just because the fueling.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than being hungry and running, or like having, like, you know, hitting the wall. I sometimes feel like I've hit the wall after like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Times.
Yeah.
It just feels absolutely awful.
Yeah.
But I would say for me, I tend to be good during the week.
Yeah.
And I have like a routine, you know. I have work, I eat at certain times, I eat pretty much the same kind of things. And then at the weekend, I am much more relaxed about it. And to be honest, I think not being relaxed at times is the worst thing you can do, because it just never works out. You have to have a life, you have to see people, you have to try delicious food that is very good for you. You have to incorporate that into your life. And if you try and restrict that, you can do that for 6 weeks, you can do that for a few months. You can't do that for the rest of your life, and you need to build something that is sustainable. You know, just like running, you could run 100 miles one week, you could run 200 miles one week potentially, but you couldn't do that week in, week out. And you're probably better off doing 50 miles a week every week, or 30 miles a week, or whatever it is, than to just try and, you know, see how much you can do, see how fast you can break yourself.
Yeah. So that's great. I think that's so wise. And I think the moment I gave up control of of what I ate, I think was the moment I genuinely found freedom. Like, genuinely, I remember I did like a sugar fast for about 2 years, and you know, basically my parameter was, if it had more than 4 grams of sugar per 100 grams, I wouldn't eat it. And my wife and I went
out like carrots. I think that rules out carrots.
Natural sugars were fine. So Okay. So it was basically refined, kind of like processed sugar. And my wife and I went to this sweet elderly couple for dinner. and they were like, "Oh, any dietary requirements?" And I was like, "I just don't eat refined sugar. Just, I just won't have dessert." And then they plonked this like treacle tart down in front of me at the end of the meal, and I was like, oh, "I'm so sorry. I'm gonna have to pass." And it was like I couldn't let it. I couldn't eat it, and they were like, "Oh, but we've made it, and it'd be so nice if you're gonna enjoy it so much." And I was like, "Oh, do you know what? Okay, just on this one occasion." And I ate it, and then I was like, "Oh, fuck it, I may as well have seconds at this point." Like, and they were like, "Cream?" I'm like, "Yeah, go on then." And it triggered probably a 1-year spiral for me, where I was like, "Oh well, I ruined it, so that's it." And that was probably 6, maybe 7 years ago now. And now, very much like you, I Monday to Friday, I pretty much do the same thing day after day, same lunch, same breakfast. Dinner's kind of hard because I've got teenage girls and kids are just fussy. So we all eat the same at the same time. So, my meals aren't, it's not amazing. I'm not eating like salmon and leaves and things like that. But at the weekend, I kind of go to town, and it's okay. I enjoy it. I love it. So let's talk about mileage then. So what sort of mileage are you doing? Let's talk running specifically. This is a running podcast, so let's talk about running. Like, you started in COVID, cliched but brilliant. I love it. What's your running CV look like?
My running CV. I'll confess, I'm in a little bit of a running slump at the moment, where I don't have like a marathon or any kind of race goal at the moment. And I know, as we discussed, you lose fitness very quickly, so I know I need to keep it up. But I am still running. But I'm not. I used to like very meticulously track how much I would run, and I'm just not in that phase at the moment. I would say so every Sunday, every single Sunday, I will do a long run, and that is usually about 2 hours. And however far I go in those 2 hours, I'll try and do at least one threshold tempo thing a week. And then I kind of run, basically, if I have to walk for 20 minutes, I figure, well, if I'm going to walk for 20 minutes, I may as well put on some running shoes and run for 20 minutes, because it takes me the same amount of time, but I get something done. So you'll see, if you do look at my Strava, a lot of my runs are just that.
I do see a lot of very short runs. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But so I'm always in my running shoes. I always have like my running shorts with me, and that's helped at times. I once I'd had a couple of drinks, and I fell asleep on the train a bit, and I missed my stop. And where I live, there's like, the taxis aren't really things. Like, you can't really get them. So I had to run like 7 miles home in the dark at about 2 a.m. But it was helpful, because if I didn't have my running shoes, I don't know what I'd have done. So always be prepared, like a Cub Scout.
Yeah, what's it like running under the influence? It's probably on one of the lists of things that you shouldn't. It's probably not advised. But was it all right?
I was pretty well fueled, I'd say. It was just really dark. Not fun. There was there was not a lamppost, there was not a pavement, there was I wouldn't advocate it. But I did have to get home, and it was either that or call my wife at 2 a.m. and say, please wake up all the children. Come collect me.
I mean, that's never going to go down well.
No.
Never.
No, she did actually call me at like 1:30. I was like, where are you?
Have you ever read Ultramarathon Man by Dean Karnazes?
I have not.
No, so his kind of like running genesis, I think, was his 30th birthday, where he is out with his mates, he's drunk, he's been drinking all night, and he comes out of a nightclub at like 2 a.m, and he's like, what the fuck am I doing with my life? And he decides he'll run home in whatever he's wearing, and that run ends up turning into a marathon. He just keeps on running, and then becomes like one of the prolific ultra marathoners of our time. But that was his. I think he was a runner at school, so he obviously had kind of some sort of previous form. But yeah, his start was a night out. So
do that.
Yeah,
that's a much better story than mine.
Missing the train, or missing your stop. So, do you feel then that you need to have a goal or a target or something that you're training for to not be in a running slump? Like, what is it for you that, like, what are your motivators?
Probably incremental progress I think is the main one. But you need to be able to measure that, so that's why you kind of need a race or something. I sort of think we all, if you don't have a goal, you're not going to achieve the thing you want to do. Like you'll get, running is not always fun. I don't always want to run. I don't know any runner who said, I always want to run. And so without that kind of drive behind it, it's very easy to make excuses. If you have a marathon 6 weeks away, you can't say, well, I can't bother to run today because you'll struggle on the marathon, or you won't get the time you want. So I think you do, to me anyway, I think you need something to keep that discipline in place.
So what sort of what would be the sort of event then that would get that motivation back for you? Like, and why haven't you got something in the diary?
Well,
I'm not cross. I'm just curious.
You're not cross. You're just disappointed.
I'm extremely disappointed.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think so. So I really do want to be able to run a sub-3 marathon. That is ultimately my goal, and I know you did that years ago, you bastard.
First time of trying.
That's thanks. That's even better.
Do you know what though? Actually, it wasn't the first time of trying. I'm going to talk about that at some point on the YouTube channel. But that's a teaser.
Oh, okay. Exciting. Paul, my camera keeps going on. I don't know if it's the same your side. It's
pausing. It's all right. I'm constantly seeing it, actually.
I look like there's still images from like movies in the 50s where they kind of jump around. But anyway, that's fine. So marathon, I'd say sub-3 is my goal. Really what I want is, so I did the stupid thing, which I wouldn't recommend, which is start running and immediately do a marathon. I would say you probably want to build up maybe 5-6 years of running before you do that. And it got me injured a lot. And actually, referencing back to my mum is a physio, and so I used to just call her all the time and be like, something's wrong, like fix me. I'm injured in some way. And I was looking, actually, most like maybe 80% of the photos on my WhatsApp to my mum are just like a picture of my knee with me pointing at it and being like, there's pain here. Which,
brilliant.
So she is, but since I stopped doing that, and since I kind of gave it 3 or 4 years to do a marathon again, I seem to be getting a lot fewer injuries. I would say, but marathon's like the main goal. I want sub-3, and I really want. So I did London Marathon 2021, and it was like the best experience. It's amazing. I think the closest that us normal people can get to feeling like they're a professional athlete, with everyone cheering your name and running down and kids high-fiving you, and like it is great. But I want to get a good for age, and that's 250 obviously. That's the goal, but it's a long goal. It's tough, but more than within reach. Speaking from someone, as someone who has done it,
I think partly it's about the amount of sacrifice you're willing to make, but part of it is, I actually genuinely do believe it is just time on feet over years. I mean, you raise a really interesting thing there about, and I see this at the moment, and it drives me absolutely potty, is people who start running and it's like, oh yeah, I've got to do the marathon. And it's like, oh, I've got to do the London Marathon. You're like, just leave those London Marathon spots for people that have been like running for years. Like, so I'm super about the inclusivity thing, but I think there is genuinely a real risk where people actually just put their bodies through way too much. And I think, I don't know, the reason I think I got my sub-3 was, and maybe I will talk about it. I did 7 marathons about probably eight years ago, and they weren't races. They were I just did them as training runs over the course of a year, and I never talk about them, bizarrely. So I set out this goal. I was trying to raise money for charity. I set this goal out at the beginning of the year to do 52 half marathons, so a half marathon every week, and to run a marathon every month. And I had just I had lost quite a bit of weight, and I was getting back into running again, and I never talk about it because I only got to marathon number 7 before I got injured. And then I was like, I'm just going to forget about that because that was a failure. So I never ran them fast. They were always on my own. I barely had fueling because I didn't really understand about fueling back then. But I think that is what has kind of prepared me over the years, just, getting into running, coming back to running over and over. It's like, I think my body kind of knows what to expect with it. But also I did an absolute ton of like zone 2. I mean, I can't overemphasize the importance of zone 2.
Yeah, I think zone 2 as a base is great. I think it's sort of overrated in terms of I think everyone thinks that's the cool thing in the way. It's like diets.
Yeah.
Fasting's the cool thing. It won't be the cool thing in 10 years. It all works.
Yeah.
But I think if you have the time to do a lot of zone 2, then great. And you'll see. I mean, I do a lot of zone 2 as well. I'm not putting it down. But I think people think that all you've got to do is zone 2 and that's it. And there's you need. It's like anything, you need a good range of lots of things.
Yeah, you do.
But, you, I think, Paul, I know you from, is it James Dunn set up a Discord a while ago.
Yeah.
I think that's how I got to know you. But he's a big advocate of Maffetone.
Yeah.
Is that what you did?
Yeah,
basically?
yeah, Phil Maffetone. Yeah. So it was about 4 years ago. I think I read that book. No, it would have been. Yeah, I went hardcore. So I went back to like running 11-minute miles to try and keep my heart rate under 142. And yeah, it sort of worked. But I think you're right. I think there are so many different training stimulus that works. I'd forgotten about that Discord. Are you still in there?
Probably. Similarly, I've also forgotten about it.
Yeah. Because he was someone else. He was someone who kept on saying, I want to get that sub-3 marathon. And I remember at the time thinking, yeah, I kind of do want to get it, but it feels sort of audacious and yeah, it's a funny one, isn't it?
And look at you now.
Look at it,
bragging about it on the internet.
Just bridge. I mean, I do. It's so hard because someone said to me the other day, they were like, "What's your, what are your running goals now?" And I was like, it's so hard because there is this part of me now that wants to get 240 because that's what I talked about all year last year, and I trained for it, and I felt like I was robbed at Valencia, and I genuinely thought I was in that shape. But at the same point, I'm like, I just want to be happy, and I want to enjoy my life, and I want to eat fun food at the weekend and not have to like stress if I'm not in bed by 9 o'clock. And 240 kind of requires that level of, I think that level of like really caring about it. And I think every level is the same. I mean, if you're a really slow runner, you have to make huge sacrifices to get your 5-hour marathon or your 6-hour marathon. So
completely,
it's no different. It's all scales. So what are the things that are most likely to trip you up in your training? Not in the physical sense, but in a, where does it go wrong for you?
So for me, it's I have to be consistent, which is kind of, but almost to an extreme where I can't skip anything, and I can't give myself a reason to skip something, because if I skip it once, I end up doing it again. It's a bit like you with your treacle tart, actually, Paul. You have one treacle tart, and then that's it. You're like, wow, I've done it now, so I'll it doesn't matter as much. Yeah. And so for me, I've got to be consistent. That gets difficult with a family. Like you have to dig your heels in quite a lot, and that's not always fun. So sometimes I'll be like, well, the only chance I'm going to get to run is running at 10 o'clock tonight, so I'll do that. And I know that that's probably not the right thing to do, but I just know that the way my brain works, if I don't do that, then I'll be like, well, I skip one, so I can skip another, and I can skip another, so I have to kind of stick to that.
I think there's a lot of us in the kind of endurance sport world that have that very same mindset. I think I'm pretty obsessive. Once I get an idea of I'm doing something, I'm just all in on it. Hence this. I mean, literally quit my job to do this. So, family life then. It's late nights, early mornings, I presume. How does your wife deal with that?
It's been a long journey, let's say. But I just, I think I'm a better person when I've run and when I've been able to do those things. And I think you need to. Family life is, well, I don't know how deep to get here, but it's the best thing, right? Kids are the best thing about life, but they can't be 100% of your life. Right, you need to be an adult at times, and you need time for yourself. And I think you'll be, your kids will see a more rounded, better person if you do that. Yeah. And so, for me, that's running, and exercise and those kind of things. And I think having my kids see that this is what people do. This is a healthy thing to do, is quite helpful. And so that was how I framed it to my wife over maybe several years, but we got there at the end. And she's very she used to be a dancer and is very into the gym and those kind of things, so she gets it, which is very helpful. She's very supportive. It's good, and I think as long as you use it to make sure that you are the best version of yourself for your family, then I think I can only see it as a good thing. What about you, Paul?
I think very similar, actually. I think for me, the version of me that doesn't run is just far and beyond a worser person. I think I need the exercise, I need the discipline, I need the routine. And it's funny, people outside of our family kind of system, I suppose, often like to kind of question Laura and I and be like, why do you let Paul get away with that? Like going out and running for 3 hours on a Saturday, like how dare he? And similarly, we've both come to that place of knowing that we both have to kind of do things that bring us life. And during the week, Monday to Friday, I'm out at the gym early in the morning. It doesn't impact family life. When the kids were babies and they needed my wife needed me around first thing in the morning, I was around first thing in the morning. But now, my kids are teenagers. I don't get them dressed. That would be weird. So, I try and do everything at a time where it doesn't compromise family life. And, for me, family, by the sounds of it, like you, is really, really important to me. It's, even the very reason, stepping into doing this rather than sort of the career life is I want to be the best version of myself for my family. I want to turn up for my family. And, I realised, over the last couple of years, I think I kind of realised that my daughters had got this kind of view of me that I was the no guy, that be like, oh, can we play some cards? Oh, I'm too tired. Oh, I'm too busy. I've got something I've got to do. And I've just noticed, even in the last 3 weeks, just, someone at the weekend, someone said to me, one of my daughters said to me, she said, Dad, can we have a game of Sorry? And I hate that game. I think it is the most demonic, hideous game. And you agree?
I play Sorry, 5 or 6 times a week.
Oh,
is it the one where there's no dice? There's
no dice. You just pick up the cards and you send people home. Yeah. It's brutal. There's no skill.
My son absolutely loves it. Yeah.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Well, without the running, I'd be saying no.
Yeah, but I actually said yes to it on Saturday. I was like, yeah, why not? Let's have a game of Sorry. Come on, we've all had lunch together and we just sat there and, all maybe sounds all very Little House on the Prairie, but I think for me that is I think when we feel good about ourselves and we feel like we're in a good place, we're able to then give good things to other people around us. And I had, sort of revelation moment earlier in the year. I'm like, yeah, I'm 45. Like, I'm going to be 90 in 45 years. I'm realistically probably under halfway through my life, over halfway through my life. Like, what is it I want? Like, do I want my children to remember me as the no guy, the guy that was like, no fun, no pleasure? Or do I want them to be the guy who's like, yeah, let's have some fun. Let's play a game. Let's go on an adventure. Let's do something crazy. I think getting the buy-in of the family and your wife, partner, I think is key. If they're not behind you, then it's a tough slog.
Yeah, it really is. And I think it's recognizing that we're not robots, that you can't just make yourself be the most patient, brilliant person all the time, and you need to give yourself the space to be able to make yourself more of that person. I think is just so important for me. That's running, and as I said to my wife, like, there are worse things I could be addicted to. Running's not a bad one as they go. Running and reading are, they're not bad things. And then the other thing you said was no, forgotten. Good.
Can't have been that interesting. You'll listen back to this and you'll go, oh, that was that absolute nugget, and we'll all be wondering.
Yeah,
we'll all be wondering. So we'll wrap this up shortly, but a couple of questions. Club running or solo running?
I've never joined a club, and I would. I think I can see why people do it. It's just the time. I'd have to drive there. I just couldn't do it at the moment. But I think if you can find a club and find a community, then that's amazing. Most of the people I hang around with aren't runners, and there's only so much patience people have to discuss which running shoes are better and whether or not you want an 8mm drop or a 4mm drop, or
people just don't get it, do they?
Exactly, and I can understand why they don't get that. But I love talking about that. But there's you see, you can kind of only use those friends to talk about that for a little bit. So having like-minded people, like say a PKS running community, for example,
PKS Running Club.
What an idea.
What an idea.
Would be good.
Yeah.
And so, if you can get to a club, do, I think. But yeah, for me, it's solo. And I quite like listening to podcasts and those kind of things. So I don't mind running solo, to be honest, because you've got a breathing space.
Yeah. I love running solo. I've been to a couple of local running clubs here, sort of evening club runs, and honestly, I just found them just tedious. You like you say, you have to get there, then you have to stand around waiting for everybody to come, and like Jenny's late from work, so we've all got to wait for Jenny, and then because you're the new guy, everybody kind of just stitches you up and is like, oh, he can run with Jeff. Jeff's a pedo. No one likes Jeff. And it's just the recipe for disaster. But the thing that changed my mind is I can't remember when you started following PKS runs, but 2 years ago I went out to Australia on a work trip and met Buzz. Buzz is an amazing runner. He's part of this running club, and I guess it's probably more like a track club because they're all interested in achieving, they're all chasing goals. It's not like, hey, let's go for a social run so that we can then go to the pub afterwards. It's like, let's get up at 5 a.m. and hammer intervals so that we can run a 63-minute half marathon. I mean, there was literally elite level athletes there, and it was amazing. I really felt like, oh, that I could get behind. I could really get behind that. But give me my solo runs 99% of the time. There are times where, like you, I'll listen to podcasts, I listen to audiobooks. Sometimes, a lot of the time, I just go out with nothing. Sometimes I listen to music. Sometimes, I've literally cried for half of my run just because it's a physical outlet for everything that I'm feeling, thinking, processing. When you're out there for 3 hours, I mean, there's a lot of time you can spend figuring shit out.
3 hours, no headphones.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
That's genuinely impressive. I couldn't do that.
Do you know what? I think probably 5 years ago, I couldn't have done it. I could never have done it. I always had music. Now, I often will actually take headphones out, and then I won't put anything on. I'll just just get into my headspace. In honesty, a lot of the time I'm thinking, what the hell am I going to say on camera? A lot of the time I'm just thinking through of have I got anything smart to say today, or is it just are we going to revert back to just rage baiting or just saying something stupid? Normally we end up there. But yeah,
watching yourself outside in black and white.
Yeah, I mean that's. Honestly, you've just got to do what you've got to do, haven't you? If getting your rig out. I respect it. Yeah.
I respect it. Everyone on the train respected it, I think.
All right. Final couple of questions then. What running shoes are you wearing at the moment?
So I have probably 30 pairs of running shoes.
Love that.
It's bad.
Love that.
But I would say, the ones I'm currently wearing are Ultra Endurance Flow 2. And
who makes them?
Ultras.
Oh, Ultra, as in ALTRA.
ALTRA, yeah. So they are Ultra, the barefoot shoe brand, as I'm sure you know.
Yeah.
But they're not quite barefoot, so they have a 4mm drop.
Okay.
But they are really comfortable.
Yeah.
And you can wear them so I wear them for the gym. They actually look like pretty normal trainers, so you can just wear them going out, day to day. So I pretty much wear them all the time. And they're you can get them really heavily discounted at the moment. So I think I got them for 60 quid. And this is my third pair of them just because I use them for everything. And yeah, I think they're really, really good. So big shout out to Ultra.
Yeah. Yeah, look at that little promotional material. Ultra, if you'd like to sponsor the PKS Running Club podcast, we are here. We are all ears. Is it, everything you wear, is it barefoot style?
No, I think you shouldn't. I think you should kind of mix it up.
Yeah.
And I think you'll get injured if you do one thing in particular. So
Yeah.
I try and wear lots of different types, and then like plated versus non-plated and all of that. I think it's definitely gone extreme for me, Paul.
Yeah. When you've got 30 pairs.
In fairness, 30 is maybe an exaggeration, but it's a lot. But yeah, I think variety is the spice of life. I think you should mix those up and test your feet.
Definitely, I'd agree with that. And do they look? I did try on a pair of Ultras at the London Marathon Expo. My big hesitation with barefoot shoes, broadly speaking, they look like clown shoes because they've got this massive wide toe box, and I would really like a wide toe box, but I don't want to look like Mr. Tumble.
Mr. Tumble doesn't want to look like Mr. Tumble, I think, in fairness.
No, it's very true.
So these ones are they just look like normal trainers. Is this?
Yeah, we can do that. We can do that.
So I think that
they look a
like
little bit special needs, but not massively.
Well, they go with the model wearing them. But no, they look better on feet, actually, in fairness. But you couldn't tell, I don't think. I think if you can tell, then you're too into shoes, Paul.
Yeah. No, I think we all appreciate the struggle is real when it comes to running shoes. As a leaving gift from my last job, I got a very substantial voucher for a running shoe shop. So I've currently got about 5 pairs in my basket, which is super exciting, but I don't actually need shoes, and I'm trying to work out, like, should I test some different shoes, or shall I just stick with what I know and what I trust? And they've been sat in my basket now for 2 weeks. I can't quite make the decisions as to what to do, but maybe I'll try something completely different. Watch this space.
What are your shoes, Paul? What are your go-tos?
Do you know what? I have got really comfortable with New Balance over the last year. The Rebels and the 1080. I say that, but I've also been injured on and off for the last 6 months consistently. So maybe I'm not as comfortable in them as I thought I was. But my current running thesis actually is, pardon the pun, I've been really trying to focus on my foot placement and kind of really landing my feet kind of, I guess, square and flat, having read Born to Run, not Born to Run, whatever Shane Benzie's book is.
Yeah.
But I realised the other week, actually, my foot placement has got nothing to do with my foot placement. It's got everything to do with the position of my knees, my hips, my, the whole kinetic chain before that. So I'd been focusing on my foot, how my feet hit the ground, and I think that's why I've been injured. That's a very long way to say I'm running in New Balance Rebel V5s most runs.
Okay. I've got the 1080s actually, and I like them.
Yeah, they're all right. I wear them probably once a week. I've got a pair of the SC Elite Trainer, which is like their kind of second tier carbon, which I'll wear every once in a while for if I'm going to go a little bit faster, or I feel like actually I just want a bit of free help. I wore them on Saturday just because I felt like I needed just a lighter shoe. But I was a Nike guy for years, but before that I was an Asics guy. So but I'm so obsessive. I can't the thought of having a shoe rotation that included shoes from different brands, that blows my mind. I couldn't. Yeah.
I need Nikes are quite narrow around the toe box, I find, but otherwise they're quite good.
Yeah. I think I would. Yeah, my toes were always getting squished in my Nikes. All right, Egbert, Simon, thank you so much. This has been really interesting. One final question: can we do a half marathon together?
Absolutely. Where?
Don't know. Let's get it in. So my last podcast guest, Jake was I interviewed him last week for chronology. That was the week of England Argentina. Unfortunately, so we were gonna help Jake run a 1 hour and 50 half marathon. That would be a PB for him. He went out for a run on Saturday morning to see how everything was feeling. He felt good. Half marathon is 9 weeks away. Saturday afternoon, he broke his arm. So, yeah, I think he hasn't said he's not going to run the half marathon, but we'll go out there. But what I kind of realise is I hate running events. I really do. I find them that they're just a ball ache, getting there, just everything about it. But I really enjoy doing them with other people. So let's find one. We'll find it offline. We won't go through it on the podcast together. I think that would be tedious for our listeners. But let's find one. Agreed. And we'll do one together and, see if we can maybe both hit a PB. My PB Sounds for the good. Half is actually 1:24:30, which I would imagine you must be around that time, if not faster.
I would want a sub 125, so we could certainly work to that.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's look at one and we'll make it happen. We'll get you a signed up member of the PKS Running Club. And yeah, thank you so much for joining us, folks. Don't forget to subscribe so that we are in your ears the whole time. And Simon, thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul. Thanks.